Morning, friends. Cowboy Joe Boo here, ecstatic as could be because the Dallas Cowboys are 5-1 and the hottest team in the NFL. And it's Monday morning after beating the Green Bay Packers and that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. And I just can't wait to see Stephen A. Smith. As always, thank you for subscribing to the Joe Boo Report. Now let's go to Stephen A. and see what he's got to say
You can check
today.
that out Sunday nights on ESPN Radio. Take a listen.
Do you think about not only possible trading Romo at the end of the year, but also Dez Bryant? Because think about it, you don't have the problems of having to answer questions all the time about did he make it to meetings on time? Is he complaining about the ball? Are you worried about not getting Dez the ball a lot? Are you calling plays for Dez? Why isn't he as productive as he was with Tony? You have a young team right now that you can build around your running back, around your quarterback, in which exciting things are happening for this football team right now.
Donovan, strong words there. So you think, should the team trade Dez and Romo?
Well, I think at this particular point, just talk about Tony Romo. At this particular point, he hasn't been healthy over the last 4 or 5 seasons. And the back injury is a problem. The shoulder injury is a problem. Now you have a young guy that can play from the pocket as well as outside the pocket, and his leadership skills stand alone. And I love what I'm seeing from Ezekiel Elliott. The offensive line is stable. Terrence Williams all of a sudden is looking like a solid receiver. You got Butler catching passes. Jason Witten is being a big key for them. But the thing about when you have a young quarterback, he always has something to fall back on, a security blanket. He has Jason Witten, but he also has Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is a guy who didn't even think he would want to play football anymore. They allowed him time away to get his mind back together, and he came back, and look what he's been doing. So this is the thing about Tony Romo. Tony Romo, you know what he's capable of doing, but he hasn't been successful over the last 5 to 7 years to take you where you need him to go. And then Dez Bryant, how do you miss treatments and how do you miss a meeting with a doctor to find out what's really going on with you because you're afraid of hearing bad news? Why is it that all of a sudden we're hearing that you missed 40 times in meetings or coming to the facility when everyone is expected? When things begin to get leaked out, that means there are a lot of thoughts going on right now upstairs in management. Meaning, if they decide to trade you, this is why we're trading him. But you already have a young nucleus. You have a team that everybody seems to rally behind Dak Prescott. And that's what football is all about. Football is about chemistry. Football is about timing. Football is about what can you do to help us win. And at this particular point, if they trade Romo, get some good picks, if they trade Dez and get a solid wide receiver, young wide receiver that they can continue to build, that three-headed monster that we see Troy Aikman be successful with, you might be able to have it with Dak Prescott.
Donovan McNabb, we go back a long way.
Mm-hmm.
You know when I think you're insane, I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling you that now.
Because I know you like Dez.
Dez,
There with the gold chain and the X.
That too, but the brother can play.
He can play.
I am allergic to dudes that can't play. You know that.
And distractions.
Well, listen, I'm not, you know me, you and I have debated this.
That's why I threw the distractions in there.
The distractions is not something that I always place that big of a deal on. You're right in terms of your critique of this. You weren't wrong about anything that you said. My point is this. Athletes are hard to find. Studs are hard to find. You know that better than anybody. So if you got a stud like this, by the way, that guy that was Dez Bryant, that was a bit problematic, that's usually when the Dallas Cowboys are losing. When the Dallas Cowboys are winning, and they're in a position right now, they have never been in the career of Dez Bryant or in recent memory for the Dallas Cowboys in terms of having 2 young studs and a Dak Prescott and a Ezekiel Elliott. You talking about moving Dez? Please. Romo, yes. After the season is over. Yes, no problem with that. But no problem with that after the season.
Right,
but,
after the season.
But Dez?
Yeah.
Dez, I'm not letting go of Dez. No way.
Well, see, this is the thing
way.
why I say Dez, because right now, Dez hasn't been out there in the last couple of weeks, and they've been very successful this season. We haven't had any drama with Dez coming back and what's wrong. Okay, see, yeah, but when you have a nucleus, a core nucleus of veterans, yeah, you can handle the drama. But they have a young team. The team that they haven't seen Tony Romo do great things besides what he did the MVP type season when they end up losing to Green Bay. Mm-hmm. But they haven't seen over the period of time what Tony has been able to do. With Dez Bryant, yeah, he's in the locker room. He's probably the energetic guy getting everybody pumped up. Guys are following him. but yet still Dez hasn't been out there to help them out on the
I
football
can't
field.
listen to this foolishness anymore from the two of you.
It's a matter of time before Odell blows up over there.
First of all, Donovan McNabb, you and I go back a long way in terms of me cursing your name as I watch you on television.
You're not the first or the last.
I hate what you used to do to my Giants. But you're both so wrong about this. First, let's take one at a time. Tony Romo. The Dallas Cowboys had a problem. They didn't have a backup quarterback. It cost them their season last year. Because I felt going into the year, they were Super Bowl contenders. If the defense could do what they're doing now, bend but don't break.
Right.
Given that offensive line and all the skills positions. But, hey, can maybe a backup quarterback tread water? Just keep your head above,
How long are you going to
above
have
water?
a backup quarterback till he's, what, 40?
Just keep your head above water until Romo gets back? The answer was no, because they didn't have one. They draft Dak. They thought maybe they had one. Now, the answer is, the solution is, they have a backup quarterback. It's just not the guy you thought it was.
Right.
The backup is Romo. Why do you have to keep him as the backup? First of all, imagine what the Steelers would do right now if they had Tony Romo on the bench, how happy they'd be. Secondly, you can't get any draft picks for Romo. He can't be a starter for another team because his health is unreliable, given his back injury and age. But he's excellent when healthy. You know what that is? That's an overpaid but excellent backup quarterback. Don't get it bent. Don't get it twisted because he's the star name and he's got the contract. He's the solution on the bench for the Cowboys. Why would you then trade him and create the problem you just had?
Well, it seems that Bill Belichick was smart enough to do something with Drew Bledsoe when he went with the guy no one expected to be the backup quarterback in Tom Brady. And look what that's done for them. Not saying that can happen with Dak Prescott, but this particular point, you got to step out. Jason Garrett's going to have to step out and show us the man he is. I don't need to hear Jerry Jones telling us what the next step is. I need Jason Garrett to step out and say, you know what, we're going forward with Dak Prescott.
You and I, owe our national television audience an opportunity to have this conversation, getting back to the distractions. Because you once had a teammate named Terrell Owens, who clearly was a distraction. My argument, however, was he's the best receiver you ever had. Outside of Brian Westbrook, who you utilize in so many
He's a running
ways.
back.
You know, he's a running back, but I'm just saying, he used to catch a lot of passes for you too. What I'm saying to you is this. A distraction may be one thing, but at the same time, if it elevates your stature as a franchise, as a team, because of the multitude of weapons you have, does that not supersede it? Does that not supersede the distraction?
For the time being.
Yeah.
But for a quarterback, it's going to become a problem because you know, just like I do, what it does to the locker room.
Yes, I do.
I mean, right now, it's nice in New York for the Giants, but it's going to split up the locker room with Odell and Eli.
Well, can't you wait? I mean, the Dallas Cowboys haven't won since
What we
1995.
waiting on?
They haven't won in 22 years.
We want to wait 5 years and they don't make the playoffs, and then we talk about, well, maybe they should.
No. I'm talking about if you're Dallas and you're flowing right now and you're flowing in this direction for the first time in Lord knows how long, and you're looking at a level of consistency that could potentially kick in to your benefit, why disrupt that? Because you're worried about how he's going to act?
Well, I didn't say trade him right now.
Okay.
I said wait till the end of the year. So this now gives Dez a chance to get back out on the football field and show us what he can do.
You're wrong about Romo because you can't get anything for him and because he can back up a QB.
I'm not sure
you're
you
wrong
can't get
about
anything.
that.
I'm not sure you can't get anything for Romo. I'm not sure you
I'm not saying that either.
You don't
Would you
think the
rather
Niners
have
would take
seventh
him?
round pick?
Well, would you rather have Tony Romo or Jay Cutler on your team?
How about that?
Tony Romo.
Thank you.
Then you get something
You
for
get
him.
something.
No, because the Bears, who are looking to turn the page at quarterback, aren't about to bring in an injury-prone guy at $20 million a year. The job of a GM in the NFL is just price talent. And if you can't rely on a guy to be there all year, you're not going to have a 35-year-old plus guy with a back
and my
injury
issue
for
with
$20
you
million
is
a
you
year.
stuck on this Tony Romo
Yeah, you
thing.
stuck
To
on
me,
Tony
Tony
Romo.
Romo is irrelevant right now. The Dez Bryant
There's two
angle is far more important to me.
Incorrect. There are two things. One, Romo should stay on the bench as the backup. You can't trade him. Two, you got to trade Dez because you're going to get a lot for him. Dez has trade value.
But why trade him if he could be the stud for you, who produces for you, who gives you an additional weapon with Dak Prescott? Let's keep him on. Hold on, y'all. Let's keep this in mind, D.
I mean, I see it. You see it.
Dak Prescott. Well, listen. I don't. Here's the deal.
They're winning without him.
Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys have the #2 rushing attack in the NFL.
True.
Yes,
and they have a top 5 rated quarterback in QB rating as well.
QB rating, yes, but their passing attack is it considered to be ultra formidable? Throwing in between the number 2 of Beasley or Jason Witten. I'm just saying, having Dez outside the numbers, come on now. I mean, what are y'all talking about here?
Hey, Dak Prescott threw a nice touchdown outside the numbers.
The dead clock is right twice a day, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
Dez
however it
Bryant,
works.
Dez Bryant's good on any team, including the Cowboys. But if you can win without him and you have a young nucleus and no problems, and Donovan's right, there are distractions and starting to get leaked into the press,
Okay.
and you can get something good for Dez, trade him. Can't get anything for Romo, keep him on the
But not
bench.
Romo, yeah.
Distraction.
You know it.
We gotta talk.
You know it.
We gotta talk. We're
You
gonna
know it.
revisit this conversation. We're gonna revisit this conversation, Donovan.
I'm good.
Distractions?
Absolutely.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Come on now.
You know it like I do.
Donovan here speaking some sense for us. Appreciate the
Just trying to help out, you
Thank
know.
you.